Well, I'm almost sick of the interview format in general. No offense, James, we're doing an interview. I'm sure yours is an excellent interview show.
So what would be your advice to people when it comes to selecting guests and, preparing for interviews?
This is a tricky one because I don't know. I'm almost sick of the interview format in general. No offense, James, we're doing an interview. I'm sure yours is an excellent interview show. It is an excellent interview show. No. I mean, they absolutely still have their place. Like a good interview show is really good. So there's nothing wrong with doing an interview show. I just think that it became the default at one point in the past where people thought that was the easy way to create good content because you don't have to do anything. You just you just find somebody good, you just ask them some questions and then the content just spills out of them and it's always great. But it's totally not true at all. Like there's so many bad interview shows out there because people haven't worked on their interviewing craft. It's a craft, it's a skill, it's something that you have to practice, it's something you have to research, it's something you have to get good at. A good interview show takes more work than any other kind of show because of the research you have to do and the editing you have to do afterwards. To me, that's my opinion, certainly. Picking good guests is about what we talked about before. It's that problem solution uniqueness. Again, I think to pick a good guest, you have to make sure that you're not just finding somebody that knows about a general subject and then asking them a whole bunch of questions. I think it's about thinking up a problem that your audience has, finding somebody who knows that problem inside out and then getting them to offer their solution to it and making sure that their solution to it is unique. It's those three things again. It's because I so often listen to interview shows and even good interview shows who aren't quite careful enough about who they bring on. They bring on an interviewee. There was a genuine problem, but then that person just trots out the same old solutions that you hear on every other show. And this is the difficulty, is finding people who have unique takes on the world, unique takes on your problem, on your topic, sorry. That's how you find good guests, to me.
Yeah. I think what you said is so true, that people hear interview shows and they hear people who are, master interviewers and they've done thousands of hours of practice and it sounds easy and it sounds fluid. And they think, well, I can have conversations, but it's not that. You're taking a listener on a journey in the interview, and it's almost a performance in a way. You need to make sure that you're not losing people. You might know things about the guest that your listeners don't know. It's important to set the scene and it is just really difficult. The other thing that's like, what I find really impressive about what Joe Rogan does is there's never any sharp right or left turns in the interview. It kind of feels like it flows very naturally from one topic to the next, but that is extremely difficult to do.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's something to be wary of. But I think, as you said, if you've got a guest who has a unique take, then you need to make sure that you're doing enough research to know what it is that makes them unique, and think carefully about, well, what can I ask this person that will be of most benefit to my listeners? What are my listeners? What would they hope to get out of this person? And kind of approach it in that way.
And don't let them ramble. That's the thing. That's the thing that ruins most interview shows out there. The fact that the hosts don't take control. So it's your show. You need to control that guest. That starts with the questions. So it starts with what types of things you ask them. It starts with the intro as well. Like, give them a good intro so that they don't then have to ramble through their entire life history. Pick out the bits of their bio, their background that are most interesting and relevant to your audience, and do that yourself at the start. Don't just get somebody on the call and go, so tell me about yourself. And then they start talking about the time when they got a dog when they were 5. That's completely irrelevant to the guest. It's just, you need to do that work to prep it so that within the first 3 minutes of the show, you've got the preamble out of the way, you've got that background out of the way, and you jump straight into the good stuff. You jump straight into the stuff that you know is dead relevant to your audience. And a bit of that is prep in terms of telling your guest what to expect as well. Tell them up front, look, I'm confident you're going to be a brilliant guest, but I know my audience really well. We try to keep answers really brief and kind of have it conversational rather than, monosyllabic. Is it? No, that's not the right word. A monologue is what I mean.
Monologue. Yeah.
So try and keep your answers relatively brief. Just give me a summary and I'll delve into the bits that I know that my audience are going to be really interested in. And please don't be offended if I interrupt you at any point, because again, I'll know kind of if you're going a bit off track, if it's something that I know my listeners will be, less interested in, I'll come in and I'll stop you and we'll bring it back on track. And all of this is because I want you, the interviewee, to come across the best way possible to my audience. If we do this, I know that they'll love you because we'll be able to get the best stuff out of you. We'll never bore them. We'll never be dull at any point. We'll pack it full of value. And therefore, it's going to make you look great and it's going to make my listeners happy. If you prepare it like that and then you take control and really do, keep them to short answers and stuff like that, then it's so much more effective. It's so much better.